So Maury, some nice looking olive oil down there. How did you get involved with all this?
Got involved in Australia. I worked for a company there that were planting olive trees and producing olive oil. Came back home to my country, New Zealand, and saw that the local industry was quite fragmented, a bit like a cottage industry. So I decided to name my company Olive Oil NZ Limited, and here I am. And I have clients that I sell their olive oil for them. I teach them how to grow the olive trees, plant the olive trees for them, and then sell the olive oil, and that's what I'm doing here today.
Great. Now I'm particularly interested in health benefits that can come from this, and any kind of anecdotal stories that you've got from people that have had a health condition and taken olive oil and got some, pretty obvious benefit.
We've got a man here today who is an ex-Vietnam veteran, very heavily affected with Agent Orange, has had very, very poor health, but now keeps remarkably good health because he's been converted to using olive oil regularly, high quality olive oil that is, New Zealand olive oil.
Right. And what about, how often do you go and see a doctor?
Haven't been to see a doctor for heaven knows over 12 years.
Is that right? How old are you, can I ask?
I'm 72.
72, and you haven't gone and seen a doctor? Every other 72-year-old's going down there about once a week, aren't they?
Yeah, no, I don't go and see a doctor. I don't get hay fever, asthma, flu, colds, high blood pressure.
Have you had any feedback on sort of those respiratory conditions and hay fever and things for people taking olive oil?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have people who have had very high cholesterol, have danger of having strokes, taken olive oil, their cholesterol's come down to normal and the doctors can't believe why.
So they'd be able to come off there, was it the statin drugs they give them for the cholesterol,
yes.
is it? Yeah?
Oh yes.
And they're pretty mean on the muscles and the mind, aren't they, those statin drugs? Nasty little things, aren't they?
Yeah.
And, quite funny, isn't it? We've got a simple homegrown solution right at our fingertips.
This one particular fella, after a fortnight, excuse me, he went to see his doctor for the regular checkup, and the doctor checked his cholesterol and said there's something wrong with the test, we've got to do it again. And did it again and it was exactly the same. And so the doctor said, what are you doing? Well, what's causing this? And the fellow said, don't know. The doctor said, well, whatever it is, keep doing it. You're off medication.
Nice, right. That's a
And
good
he doesn't
story.
take any medication ever since.
Right.
And that's about 4 years ago.
Yeah. Laurie, can you tell me about what you think of the so-called extra virgin or virgin olive oils in the supermarkets and what health benefits they might have, say compared to this brew that we're brewing in New Zealand here?
What generally happens in New Zealand, what has to happen in New Zealand by law, is that the olives, once they're picked off the trees, have to be processed within 24 hours. Any olives that are bruised or damaged with birds or anything, discarded because they bring the quality down. Whereas in the Mediterranean countries, they tend to just put the covers underneath the trees and wait until there's enough olives that have fallen to bother picking them up and taking them to the press house. So we don't do that. We actually pick the olives off manually, and we take them very quickly to the press house within 24 hours, and the olives are processed then so that it's fresh.
Right. And you were saying before that we're cleaning them up in these competitions.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
One of the biggest competitions in the world is the Los Angeles County Fair. And this year again, or 2010, an olive grove from Martinborough won the gold medal there at the Los Angeles County Fair. Best in the show. So, great.
Bit of amazing, isn't it? A world beater in olive oil.
There's the supreme championship for olive oil is held in Italy. Don't ask me to say what it is because it's about 30 or 40 letters long. But anyway, that's the supreme competition in the world. And in 2005 and 2006, the supreme championship of the world was won by two Nelson olive groves. One was Frog's End Olive Grove in Nelson, and the other one I can't remember, but it was also a Nelson Olive Grove. And they cleaned up the world championship.
Great. So there's a huge amount of potential. We've got a good reputation still on the world front in terms of clean green New Zealand, and
yes,
our olives are beating all these long revered countries in the competition. So, and you can never keep up with demand in terms of the olive oil you've got.
I've got to be very careful not to extend myself and open up too many markets and then not be able to supply. People want to come back time and time again and know that they can get product, and I can't take on too many more customers without having more supply.
Right.
So what I want to do is to get more people growing olive trees, producing olives, producing olive oil, so that I can extend my business.
Right. And you reckon it would take about 3 to 4 years to get these olives from the time you plant the trees?
Yeah.
Get the olives, and is it very hard to make the oil yourself?
What I do is I hire contracted presses. You know, I don't have an olive press myself.
Yep.
I'm a consultant, and so I hire contract presses in various districts, and the olives get sent there. I know that they're very, very good contractors, very high hygiene standards, and so I get the olives processed there and get the samples sent away for testing at an individual laboratory, independent laboratory that is, and then I sell the olive oil for them. And here it is.
Great. And you were telling me that you've been testing, matching up your New Zealand grown olive oils to the European ones, and what sort of tests are they doing, and what sort of results are they getting?
You can't do it in New Zealand. There's a laboratory in Wagga Wagga in New South Wales and one in California, and what they've done is they've taken in various Australian olive oils and also from the Mediterranean countries, namely Italy and Spain, and tested them for quality, and they've found that most of the imported olive oils from the Mediterranean countries is not actually extra virgin. It doesn't pass the test.
So they're missing key sort of health ingredients or something, are they?
Well, yes, it deteriorates because it's exposed to oxygen and it's also exposed to light. Most of it's in clear bottles, and so it deteriorates very quickly.
Right. And the New Zealand ones are stacking up pretty well in these tests, are they?
Yes, they are. We're growing the best olive oil in the world. We're cleaning up gold medals wherever we enter competitions throughout the world. I don't compete myself. I'm a consultant. I leave the growers to enter the competitions and match themselves up against other growers and other people around the world.
Right, right.
But yeah, some of my clients have got gold medals, silver medals.
Wow, you think the government would be taking a real interest in this? A huge export potential, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately they don't seem to bother, and so we just my job is to try and unite the industry and get some grunt.
Great.
And we're getting there.
Great. Well, and people can actually sort of put a little plantation in and maybe make a little bit of a cash crop out of it, make a bit of extra income, pay a few mortgage bills or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
And there's always a market for good olive oil, is there?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, look what I've done today.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Looking very tasty. Looking forward to putting a bit of a bread dip in there. You've got quite a demand for this olive oil, have you?
Huge demand.
Who's knocking on your door and annoying you on the telephone?
Look, people who bought here today will come back and back and back and back.
Right.
And so, I give them a flyer.
Yep.
They've got my email address on it. They can look up my website.
Yep.
And we can sell it to anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Just put it in the post and off it goes.
Right. Well, that's anything else you'd like to say about it?
Well, I just think that it's the healthiest food in the world.
Yep.
We don't have any. The people who've been using olive oil regularly in their diets don't have the sicknesses that we do in New Zealand. They don't really know what cancer is.
Yep.
If you say, so and so's got cancer, they say, what's that?
Right.
What's cancer? It's a scourge.
This is the countries that are some of these countries that are regular on the olive oil, is it?
They've been using it for centuries, and they just don't have all these.
I've got a very low incidence of cancer, have they?
Yeah, and heart problems and strokes and.
Is that around the sort of Middle East or Mediterranean sort of area? Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's attributed to olive oil largely.
Well,
is it?
largely yes.
Yeah, okay.
Plus, our diet, we have a lot of saturated fat that they don't.
Yeah.
We like our fat meat, don't we? We like our butter and that sort of stuff. And slap it on thick.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
So they don't have the problems.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get people in New Zealand to look after their health, cut down the obesity and the incidences of strokes and high cholesterol and angina and cancer.
What if we got say 100 people from the older population, or let's make it 1,000 just to bring the numbers up a bit, and gave them a dessert spoon. That was your sort of recommended daily allowance, wasn't it, of the olive oil? Dessert spoon of olive oil a day. I mean, what percentage less strokes do you reckon we'd be having?
Well, you'd never know because Olive oil is not a medicine. It
Yeah.
won't cure you once you've had a stroke. It won't get you over it.
Yeah.
What I do is work on a preventative,
Yeah,
so
but
you
it's-
don't actually get a stroke. Even if you're in a prone or you're in danger,
Yeah.
you know, if you're very obese or your high blood pressure is very high, your cholesterol is very high, you're a candidate for it.
Yeah.
Best thing is to bring your blood pressure down and your cholesterol down so it doesn't happen.
Okay, and olive oil on its own can do that, can it?
Yes.
Or- Great, it's good news. And what other clear health benefits would you sort of know of, either scientifically or through your own case history, life experience?
Well, what olive oil does, it actually builds up your immunity, your immune system.
Right.
You know, we all have an immune system. Some immune systems people have are very weak,
Yep.
and they're susceptible to colds and flu. And you know, if somebody on the other side of the room sneezes,
Yep.
you get the flu.
Yeah.
If you have a very strong immune system, they can sneeze right in your face and you won't get the flu.
Right.
So this is what olive oil does. It builds up and strengthens your immune system.
Yep. And what about the leaves? We just grab some green leaves off the tree and just cook them up and make a tea with about 4 leaves or something? Or?
Ideally, what you do is you take the leaves and you dry them. You can either dry them in the sun or in a microwave, and so that when you put them into your teapot and pour the boiling water on, the leaves actually absorb the water. And the flavour comes out of the leaves better from dry leaves than from green leaves straight off the tree.
Oh, okay.
So ideally, you dry the leaves and then.
I think I'd rather use the sunlight in the microwave, eh?
Well, you know, some people haven't got time to.
Yeah, true, sure. Yeah,
So they
yeah.
pull a few leaves off the tree and take them inside, shove them in the microwave for 2 or 3 or 4 minutes,
Yep.
and then into the pot, pour the boiling water on, and hey presto,
Right,
instant
okay.
tea.
And it's given them a bit of an immune boost, is it?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how many people got an instant type of boost, wouldn't it? Whether you could
Oh
sort of
yes.
get
And
an
you
instant
have a
energy
cup
boost
of
from
olive leaf tea every day.
it. Right?
It's so good for you,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's no big deal.
Right. And can we, if we wanted to get a bag of dried leaves, could we contact you for that, or?
I don't normally. I don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm a consultant. What
Yeah.
I do is I tell people how to do it,
Yeah.
and then say, well, here's some leaves. Take them home and dry them yourself, and,
Yeah.
and you've got your own homemade olive leaf tea.
Okay, I might sort of dial you up on the web and look for where I can get a couple of kilos of leaves.
Oh, we can get a couple of kilos from here in Waihi.
Great, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should
Staying
come out and
overnight.
watch it. I should come out and watch the process, do a video of the process sometime.
What I've done with my assistant, we did for our TV program about 4 years ago, similar to a section of Country Calendar, and it was called Farming Today. And so I haven't actually got a copy of that, but I can get a copy of it, and you just put it on your video and play it, and that's all about growing olives and goes through the processing at the factory and the bottling of this.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been on TV.
Oh, great. And how you were saying something before that this olive oil, if it's sort of kept in a dark room, it will last for years.
Yes, nobody really knows for sure because it doesn't last that long. People
Yeah.
use it,
Yeah.
you know, and this is good for me, you know.
Yeah.
It keeps the stuff going through, and,
Yeah.
so what I did back in 2004 is I bought some bottles of olive oil, and the idea was I was going to open a new bottle every year to see, but then you can't remember what it tasted like last year. So, but it's still good.
Yeah.
And so I bought 20 bottles, so that was going to last me until the year 2024.
Right.
So I've still got quite a few bottles left.
Oh, okay.
So I open a bottle every year,
Right.
Christmas time.
Oh, have you got a website that you can refer
Yes.
people to?
Yes, I have a website. It's called Olive Oil NZ Ltd.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Laurie, and we'll hopefully get some people informed and inspired to start growing their own olive orchards.
Too right.
Thanks.
I'll plan them out, and I'll help them plant them, and I'll teach them how to grow olives, and then I'll organise for their olives to be processed, and then I'll sell their olive oil for them, take my commission, and pay them on the 20th of every month a cheque for what's been sold.
Can't go wrong there. And we've got your mobile, your phone number here is 07870 5499, and your mobile 027 4540 878.
That's right.
And the email is oliveoilnz@gmail.com.
That's right.
Maury Vickers. Thanks, Maury.
You're very welcome.
Okay.